So ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be covering the fall 2023 session. If you want to go overseas in any country of your choice, you want to go study overseas and you want to go around August or September 2023, in that case, this is the schedule you have to follow. By the way, if you want to go in January, there's a spring schedule available. It's available on YMGrad, but I'm going to be making a separate video on that, just like I'm making on the fall session. Okay, so to actually get to the actual timeline, I'll actually show you the easiest steps. You go on to ymgrad.com. From here, you go on to the articles section, and either you can see it in the popular article section, I think it's the second last one currently, or you can just search for timeline. And as soon as you do that, you see both of these, spring and fall. So we'll go for the fall over here in this video, and I'm going to be explaining this entire timeline. It's also written in text just in case you want notes on it. There's much more available, but for now I'm going to be using this image to actually explain the exact timeline to you. What should you be doing in this month or that month? What should be your preparation plan? What should you be doing right now? All of that I'll be explaining in this video. Okay, so let's get started, guys. Okay, so let's talk about the period for February to June. This is the very important period that you have right now on your hands. I know that February has passed, but March through June, you still have a good amount of months, right? And what should you be doing in this time period? That is critical, because you need to start preparing for your GRE, TOEFL, GMAT, SAT, IELTS, whatever you're taking, right? We've written 2 tests over here. You can take whichever ones you want, right? But start preparing right now. Okay, this is the period. Until June, all you have to do is prepare for tests. And of course, for instance, if you are working with us right now, what we would be doing at this point of time is we would not only be asking you to basically work on your test prep, right? But in the meanwhile, we'll also be providing you with continuous profile improvement guidance. So, give us a call anytime if you're enrolled, and we'll see what we can do to improve your profile, right? So these things can be done during this period, because again, the more you improve your profile right now, and especially, we know what kind of things can bring out the most impact during the admissions. So that impact can actually help you get more chances in terms of the admissions, right? So you want to try to improve your profile right now. Otherwise, if you haven't prepared for your tests, no problem. Focus on your test prep, focus on your standardized tests, and till June, that's all you have to do. These 2 things only, okay? Now, moving on to July 2022, this is essentially where you, and again, even if you're doing it alone or with us, you should be starting with your document preparation. That is your SOPs, and if your recommenders need help with their recommendation letters, you should be helping them with that. So all of that should be done between July and September. It is critical that you are prepared with these documents in advance. Why do I say that in advance? Because when the deadlines come in, well, you're not going to be able to actually apply soon, because you want to apply as soon as the admissions open so that you can get the maximum funding, the maximum scholarship, and the best admits. To do that, you have to apply early, guys. So make sure that all of these are ready in advance. Now, it depends on what you have to work with, basically, essentially, because if you're doing these yourselves, I can tell you that it does take time, because you're going to be writing it for the first time in your lives, I imagine, at least. And trust me, it takes 1 to 2 months if you're doing it for the first time, especially your SOP. You just can't reach that perfection, starting from scratch, blank piece of paper, you start writing. Trust me, for the first 15 days, you're not going to like what you wrote. So for the most part, that changes. It has multiple stages, and I know how it goes, so it takes time. If you're getting it done through us, we already work with Ivy League graduates. They would be working directly on your drafts from scratch. But again, if you're doing it by yourself, make sure you put in the time. Don't want to rush it, okay? That's important. Now, the next thing, between September to October, there's not really much that you have to do. Again, just the same things. You have to basically make sure that all of these things are ready. Think of it as a buffer period, right? But if you can, of course, start taking the tests, because October to November, you should be through with your tests, and shortlisting should be completed during this time period. Okay, you should have the shortlist in front of you. Essentially, people who are applying for MBAs, you need to have your shortlist complete by October only. That's very important. If you're applying for MS programs, then even by November is fine. But for MBAs, it should be done by October, because a lot of schools, take a look at the Harvard deadlines. They have very, very early deadlines, right? So top schools will have round 1 deadlines before you even know it. And you're going to be lagging behind if you're just finishing your shortlisting by November. So I would say for MBA, essentially try to get it done by October. For all of the people, October, November, you can finish it off. And your tests, you should be through with your tests. I'm not saying you have to take these tests by this period, by November. No, you have to be through before November. You have to end your tests. Okay, very important over here. Before November, you have to have your GMAT, you have to have your GRE, you have to have your PT, whatever test you're taking. You have to have that in your hands. Okay, and of course when you shortlist universities, you'll of course know what kind of test you have to take. You can take our help with that. We'll be very happy to let you know. But again, in general, I'm sure that you already know, so for the most part, start working on this and finish it off by November. With that, once you reach November and you're finished off with your tests, you're finished with your SOPs, your LORs. Of course, SOPs, I'm assuming that you're going to be doing one per university, right? It has to be a little bit different for the most cases. And then once you're done with that, this is the period, October through March. October through March, yes, from October itself, some universities, like I said, right, for MBAs mostly, they start taking in applications. So October through March, as soon as you get done, I would say, you know, it's okay if you're finishing in November the shortlist, so you can apply after November, that's fine. But if you finish before, apply early. Okay, so October through March, you have to actually go ahead and file in your applications. And I would say, if possible, send in your applications as early as possible, before November even, or during November is good enough. If you can do that, you have the chances of maximum admits and maximum scholarships. Okay, very important guys, this is all of my experience I'm giving out to you in this video. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe, make sure to follow me on Instagram. There's a lot more where this is coming from, and we'll continue with the video now. But you know, the most important part, you want to finish off the applications during this period as early as possible. Some people, they come to us late, they have no option. We help them apply even in January, February. We're applying for fall sessions, sometimes even in March. We're applying for, like, even right now we're applying for fall 22 for a couple of students. It happens. But for you guys, you're already early, you're watching this video early, I'm hoping that you can apply as soon as possible. Okay, very important. If not, if you're late, if you're watching this late, doesn't matter, apply whenever you can, but apply during this period, before March. Okay, or by maximum by the end of March, because by the end of March you'll see that the top universities generally don't have any applications open, right? Not even for tier 2 universities, I would say, for the most part. So very important thing to note over here. Okay, and by you know, between February to April, you will start receiving a lot of admits. Hell, if you're lucky, you might even receive them in January. You can actually check the admits rejects page for that. You will see when similar universities are giving out admits, the ones that you are going to be applying to. All the dates are over there. But in general, the point is that by maximum of April, you will have your decisions in your hands. Okay, very important thing. Once you have your decision, it's the greatest feeling in the world, especially if it's an admit, and it's the hardest thing to deal with if it's a reject. I know how it feels, but again, it's important that you actually get through this process by March or April max, so that and given the situation of the visa slots, I'm not sure how it's going to be next year, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be easy either way. You want to be in advance so that by March or April you get your I-20, right? You get your I-20 and then you start with the visa process. This is for US. If it's for Canada, again, you can start by April also, right? Again, if it's for UK also, you can start by April, no problem at all. Their visa process is not as complex, and we've done it a lot of times. That's easier as compared to the US process in general, because in the US you generally don't have slot availability, which makes it very, very difficult. Even Canada has been a little bit difficult in the last 1 year. So don't worry about that. We can walk you through it. If you need our help, you can go ahead, take a look at the services section over here. There's the services page. You can go ahead and you can understand what you would like to, you know, enroll yourself into from here. But for now, like I said, you receive the admissions letter, and between May and July, this is essentially when, you know, I would say you have to have your I-20 form, whatever the cost may be. You cannot delay it after May. Okay, you have to get it. I'm not saying that you get your I-20 in June or July. Get it by May maximum. Okay, if your DSO is not giving it to you, connect with their manager, connect with people and tell them that you need the I-20 right now. Okay, and then finally you apply for the F1 student visa. Right now, this is of course F1 student visa is relevant to the US. If you're going for Canada, etc., etc., it's Canadian student visa. Whatever it is, you have to basically follow this timeline so that by August or by even July, for the most part, you have your visa in your hands. Right, by end of July, you have your visa in your hands, which means you can now fly to the country in August or September. And of course, I recommend going a little bit early. It has a lot of advantages. I've discussed them earlier, but this is what I would recommend. This is the fall 2023 timeline for you guys who are targeting the fall 23 term, of course, with no matter which country, no matter which level, undergrads, PhDs, masters, we work with everyone, and this timeline works like a charm. And apart from that, make sure to bookmark this page. I'll leave the link in the description so you can go ahead and bookmark it and follow it religiously. It's very important. I'm also going to be creating one for spring, by the way. If you're interested, you can subscribe to the channel. I'll be talking about it in one of my next videos, and I hope to see you here when that happens. Goodbye and take care for now, and all the best for your process.